From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
And good morning. Welcome to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. New this morning, there are some new details surrounding that federal raid at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. Well, the FBI's search is connected to the Justice Department's investigation into how Trump handled White House records. Trump made a statement following the raid, and in February, the National Archives asked the Justice Department to investigate Trump's handling of White House records. Sources say the warrant had nothing to do with the January 6th insurrection. Questions still remain, though, as to what the mission is for the FBI agents in this search. For more on that, we bring in our Diane Parker. Good morning, Diane.
Well, good morning, Andrea. Well, this probe is looking into claims by the National Archives that it found 15 boxes of records at Trump's Florida estate earlier this year. Now, some of the material is said to have been classified. Trump issued a statement saying Mar-a-Lago was, quote, under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. The statement went on to say nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. And it said after working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. In the statement, Trump also said agents broke into his safe.
What they need is probable cause that there was a federal crime that was committed and probable cause that the evidence of that crime is where they say it was, in this case at Mar-a-Lago.
The former president was in New York at the time of Monday's FBI search. Several investigations into the former president are known to be underway. Now, last night, Trump's son Eric spoke out about the search, saying on Fox News, quote, this came from one place and one building, and that is the White House in Washington, D.C. They want to attack a guy who they view as Biden's greatest threat. But in response to that, a senior White House source says the Biden White House was given no advance notice of this search. All right, Andrea, back to you.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. We're happy to have you back, by the way.
Yeah, it's so great to be back. It was a great trip with the family, and it's nice to be back here on the morning.
So great. We'll see you a little bit later in the show.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right, this morning, an update on that Billings hit and run crash that left a man hospitalized with severe injuries. Now, Billings police say that they may have located a vehicle involved in the incident. It happened last Thursday outside Buck's Bar, but police say no arrests have been made in the case so far. A 50-year-old man was run over by a car following a bar fight, according to a witness. He says a bouncer threw him out. The fight continued in the parking lot. Remington Parkman tells us he saw the group get into a car, then put the car in reverse, knocking down the man and running him over. He hopes the people who did this will come forward and take responsibility. Meanwhile, though, police say they are still investigating. This morning, there's new information surrounding a closure on the Stillwater River due to a natural gas pipeline that's creating a dangerous obstacle. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks closed the river to watercraft between the Absaroka fishing access site and the confluence of the Rosebud River. This is just upstream from Jeffrey's Landing. Officials say the exposed pipe is making it hard for floaters to safely negotiate the river. The pipeline company working on a solution, and the area will be closed until further notice. That is such an interesting thing to see. Obviously, it's got to be from that flooding, just changing the way that the rivers obviously were. So some stuff to figure out there, but it would be a good day, good time, good week to get on the river.
Absolutely, yeah. Take a dip somewhere because it is going to be hot. We're staying in this heat wave for the next couple of days, at least tomorrow, aiming to be our hottest day of the week. And it was hot yesterday. Our high got up to 95. We called a high to 95, and that's what we got. Good 7 degrees above the norm. Overnight low pretty much on target where we should be, right at 60. Top gust yesterday was breezy at times. We got up to 22 at the airport. No rain to speak of. A dry start to the month. We're still in the hole, but for the year, just under 2 inches on the plus side. So we're not doing too bad out there right now. Beautiful sunrise. Look at that. Gorgeous. Captured by the Stockman Bank weather cam. Sitting at 67 at the airport. And humidity at 36%. Dew points at 39. Winds out of the southwest at about 13 miles an hour. Couple spots this morning. Coal Strip sitting at 60. We'll go 60 in Crow Agency as well. 62 in Huntley. Up in Roundup at 60. Down in Cowley at 59. Over in Gardner at 51. Highs today mainly in the 90s today. Some of us maybe not as hot as yesterday. It's still going to be hot, but we do have this weak cold front that's dropping through. May take those temperatures down just a bit. Tomorrow, our hottest day of the week, and then we're going to add in the possibility of some rain moving forward. And we'll take a look at that when the main forecast is coming up.
Okay, and we just want to let you know that we never doctor the iCam. It's not doctored. There's no filter on it.
It's just absolutely gorgeous.
It's just the way it is.
I cannot get enough of those iCam shots. Fantastic.
Me either.
Man, beautiful.
Okay. All right, Miller, we'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right, this morning we are learning how state leaders may hand out more than $200 million in funding to expand high-speed internet to parts of Montana. But the proposed project, it's getting some review, and there are some questions surrounding tweaking the criteria. Montana allocated $266 million to expand internet access, and in response, the state put together a grant program and scores for 75 applications. 20 of the top-ranked projects were proposed by Charter Communications, but now local telecom companies are feeling frustrated with that scoring system.
If adjustments aren't made prior to this award being made, we'll have to acknowledge there's a strong likelihood that some in the state will never have fiber to the home.
The commission is considering adjusting those rankings so that no single provider can receive more than 35% of grant money. Charter urged members to keep the ranking system as it is. Well, this morning, a mother is in agony over a days-long disappearance of her 16-year-old daughter, and now the FBI is talking with family members over missing Kylie Rodney. Pictures surfaced of the girl at a party at Prosser Lake where she was last seen. Hundreds of underage teens were at that party drinking and using drugs, but no clips were turned in that could be evidence of her leaving. In Oakland, one school district is dealing with a massive teacher shortage going into the school year. Right now, there are about 40 teachers short, classes being covered by subs, and the mayor says the real challenge is getting teachers to apply. But Oakland, of course, is an expensive city to live in, so officials are offering new teachers a stipend to afford the cost of living and provide them with highly subsidized housing. This year, back-to-school shopping could be a bigger pain in your wallet, and that's because inflation is driving up the cost of just about everything, including school supplies. This morning, as you think about back-to-school shopping, our Alina Howder breaks down the numbers to help parents.
The school year is just around the corner, which means parents are back to school shopping. And that could be very stressful for families this year as the cost of school supplies is up 41% from 2021. Fortunately, parents here in Billings have options.
Backpacks, notebooks, and pens, all essentials for going back to school. But unfortunately for parents, prices have gone way up.
I think that for the community and for myself, it's very expensive with the cost rising.
Alba Pimentel has 2 kids going back to school this year, and she's had to make adjustments when shopping.
I started, but in order for it not to affect my budget, I did little by little.
She purchases school supplies with each grocery trip she takes.
I couldn't do it all in bulk because you're looking at $50 to $100 added to the budget.
And according to shopping website Retail Me Not, families shopping for back-to-school supplies are expected to spend around $1,100 on average this year. Parents have seen a 55% jump in what they expected to spend on school supplies last year versus this year. Fortunately for Billings parents, there are options. The Salvation Army has a back-to-school supply assistance program free for families.
We try to provide a well-rounded backpack catered to each age, each grade, because each school has specifics of what they need.
Parents can swing by the Salvation Army to sign up. And across town at Harvest Church, more help.
We've given out supplies for years, but this year we're expanding to include a whole bunch of services.
Harvest Church is hosting a back-to-school fair for families from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on August 13th. The church is also offering families free access to Billings wellness providers, even offering Medicaid and WIC assistance.
Free haircuts, we're doing free eye exams, we're giving out free first day of school outfits.
We just want to bless families in the community, make it a little easier for that first day.
Just a bit of help during what can already be a stressful time. In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
All right, the National Weather Service is warning more flooding is possible in Kentucky with heavy rain in the forecast. More than 36 people are dead after last month's flooding, and Kentucky's governor says his state has plenty of clothes and bottled water to help residents. But what it does need is cash donations. How much thought do you give to where your food comes from? Keeping food as accessible as possible is one of the main reasons the Yellowstone Valley Food Hub was formed. As MTN's Russ Riesinger reports, the program is also helping local producers stay in business.
It's Thursday, and the Yellowstone Valley Food Hub is a busy place, with orders being filled and getting ready to head out the door.
Fruit, veggies, jam.
The Food Hub got started a few years ago as a collaboration between the Northern Plains Resource Council and local farmers and ranchers.
We provide kind of this almost like incubator for small producers. If we can provide this steady market, then somebody who has a really small farm that they're starting has a chance to kind of like get their feet on the ground.
It became obvious during the early days of the pandemic how important those local producers can be.
When there was a food shortage and no ground beef in the grocery stores, us producers had an abundance of beef and meat and vegetables available because we didn't have to wait on distribution trucks. Our food was here.
The purpose of the Food Hub is twofold: help meet the community's need for fresh, local quality food, and also help small producers market and distribute their products.
A lot of the challenges was, finding the budget for marketing, finding the market research, just being able to get the word out there that you have local products available to the public.
It actually is really a great idea. We do probably half our business through the Food Hub nowadays. It's convenient, really. Before, you're running around, you're trying to sell all over the place. The Food Hub really puts it all together. I can bring the product in, they handle the invoices, the payments, some of the storage and the delivery.
Sometimes lettuce is hard to take to farmers market because you want to keep it cold. Where instead of having to go to farmers markets, I can just sell directly to customers here.
The process is simple. Customers order online, then every Thursday the food is delivered to several locations for pickup.
I just think it's a really important thing for healthy bodies to be eating food that's produced locally. I think it's good for the producers. So it's very good for the consumers. I think it's good for the environment.
Well, orders soared early on in the pandemic. They have leveled off since. Shashinsky is hoping people will continue to see the benefit of keeping local food as accessible as possible.
So I think we've been really interested to see how we can kind of re-engage the community and keep the community, not just in a time of struggle, but saying, look, we really need your support if we're gonna be here in the long run and really create that ongoing resiliency within our community.
What a great program. Thanks, Russ, for the story.